There's nothing better than coming back home after a long day at work, making yourself a sandwich or 5, sitting down on the couch and watching the 17th episode of the 7th season of Castle, or The Mentalist, or Lucifer, or Murders in Midsommar, or Murders in the Building, or Criminal Minds. Will the list ever end? Crime shows have been around for over 80 years now, and no matter how many new ones get made, there always seem to be more and more shows like this. The craziest part is, nearly all these shows make a significant profit. How is that possible? Well, crime shows have a few significant advantages over most genres of TV. First of all, they're the easiest to make. I know, that's a bold statement coming right off the bat, but bear with me, okay? After years and years of figuring out what their audience expects and seeks when watching an episode of a crime TV show, the filmmaking industry almost perfected the formula by which these shows should be made. We can briefly go over it right now. In order to make a compelling episode of an episodic crime TV show, we need the following ingredients: a likable or at least relatable protagonist with a lot of charisma, playful but dumb supporting characters, a simple crime committed in a somewhat complex way, a few leads before revealing who the criminal is, and a joke after the big reveal for the sense of comfort. Then if you really want to make your show pop out a bit, subvert one little crime trope and boom, you've got an entertaining money machine. Following this method, it doesn't really matter if you nailed the dialogue or made the crime seem masterful because you satisfied your audience. No one expected you to make a masterpiece. And that leads me to the second advantage of crime shows: digestibility. The fact that crime tropes have been so firmly established makes crime shows incredibly easy to watch and doesn't require your full attention. If your kid starts crying in the other room while you're watching Castle, no problem, you can change your kid's diapers and come back a few minutes later and you'll still know just enough to follow the rest of the episode. It's easy to watch and keep track of, while it still relieves you of the stress you've been going through during the day. These two advantages alone would be just enough to mass-produce multimedia content like this, but there's one more that makes it miles easier. And obviously, it's budget. You don't need flashy CGI or the best actors to film an episodic detective drama. You barely need a bigger interior as your filming location. Throw some red paint and makeup and there you have it, a victim of an atrocious crime. Not to discredit the effort being made in writing, setting up and filming these shows, it still takes a lot of time and will to do it, but it may look dull and bland as a result. Still, all of this begs the question: doesn't the audience ever get sick of it? You see, that's a damn good question, because all the shows mentioned in the beginning of this video get incredible watch time, to use that YouTube terminology, although there can be seen more complaints about them on the internet than ever before, meaning some people are indeed tired of watching the 600th show about a detective with drinking problems. Okay, but does that mean we got a TV revolution? Not at all. Crime dramas will definitely stay with us for another decade or two, maybe a century, who knows. However, there are some signs of writers and directors acknowledging this oversaturation, so they started producing a bit more character-based crime shows like Ozark or Money Heist. It's not a crazy increase for now, but we can hope the pressure directors get from this satisfied audiences convinces them to focus on more cleverly written, overarching stories. You might be saying that you enjoy watching these episodic shows and why stop making them now, but trust me, if you started watching all of the ones that have been produced till now, you'd probably end up with enough material for the rest of your life. So if this change is noticeable for crime shows, then what about comedies? They're also very saturated and unoriginal. See, comedies are another pair of shoes. People don't mainly watch them for the overarching story, they watch them to relax and have some fun. The episodic approach is much more reasonable here because it offers a lot more opportunities to make new jokes than you could with one big plot. Crime shows, though, personally, episodic storytelling doesn't suit them nearly as well. And don't get me wrong here, there are some really interesting and pretty well written episodic crime dramas. Take The Mentalist as an example, but shows like that are an exception in an objectively dull market where there's not a lot to explore. It's almost like Marvel these days. It already went too far with different planets and timelines, and there's not much else to do to raise the stakes of its stories. If you can't raise the stakes, your story slowly loses its impact and meaning. That's why I often find these episodic crime dramas boring, and I'm sure the majority of people will agree with me. We're all humans and we seek new stimuli for narcissistic, smart, witty detectives' sake. Well then, to conclude this video, if you're watching NCIS, you're probably a middle-aged dad or a bored teen and you just watch it to pass the time. No one will say that's bad, and it's understandable how shows like that get made so often, but even you'll probably agree you don't want 20 crime shows coming on TV every year. So it's about time the filmmaking industry wakes up. Its quality is slowly declining anyway. I'm really interested in your opinion about crime TV, so feel free to leave a comment down below conveying your thoughts on the topic, or off topic if you got some really good video ideas. Thank you for watching and see you soon.